Hello there and a very good evening. You're watching Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For Newsfirst, where the people come first, I am Rochelle Tumodra. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Asgiri and Malwatu Mahanayaka Theras approve organizing an exposition of the sacred tooth relic after 15 years. Exposition of sacred tooth relic in a peaceful country brings good fortune to the country. Mahasangha invokes blessings. President gives an assurance on national security. Three suspects involved in the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva questioned under detention orders. New education reforms next year. Vatican says Pope Francis is in critical condition.
On to your top story for tonight, the Mahanayaka Theras of the Malwatu and Asgiri chapters have given their permission to organize an exposition of the sacred tooth relic. President Andrukumara Dissanayake had proposed organizing an exposition of the sacred tooth relic when he called on the Mahanayaka Theras this morning.
President Andrukumara Dissanayake paid homage to the temple of the sacred tooth relic today. The President then called on the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwabe Sri Sumangala Thero. President Andrukumara Dissanayake also called on the Mahanayaka of the Asgiri chapter, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Gnanaratna Thera. President Andrukumara Dissanayake said that the Mahanayaka's approved plans to hold an exposition of the sacred tooth relic.
අපේ දලද හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේගේ ප්‍රදර්ශනයක් අවුරුදු ගණනාවක අවුරුදු 16කින් විතර මම හිතන්නේ පැවැත්විලා නැහැ. ඒ නිසා අපි උන්වහන්සේලාට ඉල්ලුමක් කරනු ලැබුවා මේ ප්‍රදර්ශනයක් පවත්වන්න කියලා. ඒ අනුව අවුරුදු වලින් පස්සේ මේ ප්‍රදර්ශනය පැවැත්වීම සඳහා එකඟතාවයකට අපි ඇවිල්ලා ආවා. ඒ අනුව ඒකේ අවශ්‍ය වෙන වැඩ කටයුතු දිසාපතිතුමා, අනුකාරතුමා, සානකුත් රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන් අපේ දියවඩන නිලමතුමා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සහභාගීත්වයෙන් අපි ඉදිරි වැඩ කටයුතු සූදානම් කරන්න එකඟතාවයකට ආවා.
Anunayaka of the Asgiri chapter, Most Venerable Vendurueshri Upali Thera, highlighted the importance of organizing an exposition of the sacred relics.
Even the news about the proposed exposition of the sacred tooth relic fills the hearts of the devotees with faith and devotion. Although devotees get to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic at the temple of the sacred tooth relic, they do not get to see the relic often. An exposition of the sacred tooth relic was held in 1994, 2001 and 2009. It is only after 10 to 12 years that an exposition of the sacred tooth relic is taking place. Paying homage to the sacred tooth relic is very important to us. The most sacred relic is a blessing to our country. When an exposition of the tooth relic is held, not only local devotees but Buddhist devotees across the world also come down to Sri Lanka to pay homage to the sacred relic. About 3.5 million people had come to pay homage to the sacred relic in the past, and during the 15-day period when the exposition is held, people had waited in line for 2 to 3 days to pay homage to the sacred relic. I believe that it will bring good fortune to all of us if we get an opportunity to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic again.
උනත් 35ක් 40ක් දින 15ක් පමණ කාලයක් ඒ දළදා ප්‍රදර්ශනය පැවැත්වෙනවා. ඒ කාලය තුල විශේෂයෙන් දින දෙක තුන පොලිමේ රැඳී සිටමින් උතුම් දළදා වහන්සේ වැඳ පුදා ගැනීමට මහත් උනන්දුවක් ඕනෑකමක් දක්වනවා. ඒ නිසා මා හිතනවා එබඳු අවස්ථාවක් මේ රටට උදා වුණොත් එය ඔබ අප හැමදෙනාගේම වාසනාවන්ත අවස්ථාවක්.
President Andrukumara Dissanayake stressed that there is no threat to the national security of the country. He made this statement when he visited the temple of the tooth relic today.
ජාතික ආරක්ෂාව පිළිබඳව කිසිදු තරජනයක් නැහැ.
There is no threat to national security. There have been clashes between rival underworld gangs. It has not become a threat to the security of the entire public. The underworld gangs have been growing over a long period of time and their connections have spread to various institutions. Therefore, this has developed into a destructive network. We are taking great effort to suppress these criminal gangs. We have faith that we can do this successfully. All of these gangs grew under political protection. Now, they do not have any political protection. On the other hand, we are receiving information that leads us to question as to if these are mere clashes between rival underworld gangs or if there is some other invisible hand behind these incidents coordinating them. We have launched investigations into this aspect as well.
සියල්ල ඒකාබද්ධ කොටමින් මෙහෙවනවාද කියන සැකය ගොඩනගමින් තිබෙනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳව දැන් අපි පරීක්ෂණ ආරම්භ කරලා තිබෙනවා.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that new education reforms will be introduced in 2026.
2026 වෙනකොට අපි ඒ අලුත් අධ්‍යාපන ප්‍රතිසංස්කරණ පළවෙනි ශ්‍රේණියට
By 2026, we plan to introduce new education reforms for grade 1 and grade 6. If your child is currently in 3rd or 4th grade, you may wonder how these changes will affect them. The complete transformation will not impact them as this is a newly built system from the ground up. However, we are implementing certain adjustments to ease the burden on students already in the school system. While the examination system will remain unchanged, we are updating the content to better align with today's needs. The new system will first be introduced at the primary level and will apply to students entering grade 1 in 2026 and beyond.
එතකොට 2026 පළවෙනි වසරට ඇතුල් වෙන දරුවන්ට තමයි අලුත්ම ක්‍රමය හඳුන්වා දෙන්නේ.
The Vatican said that Pope Francis had a peaceful night and was rested after revealing on Saturday that his condition continues to be critical.
The pontiff was described as more unwell than on Friday as he received blood transfusions as he suffers from a prolonged asthma-like respiratory crisis, according to the Vatican. The 88-year-old is being treated for pneumonia in both lungs. The blood transfusions were deemed necessary due to a low platelet count associated with anemia. It is said that the Roman Catholic leader was alert and in his armchair but required a high flow of oxygen and his prognosis remains guarded. Meanwhile, Pope Francis has asked Catholics to pray for him as he continues to receive treatment in hospital for double pneumonia. The pontiff was unable to deliver the traditional Angelus prayer in person for the second Sunday running. But in a message written over the last few days, he said he was confidently continuing his hospitalization and carrying on with the necessary treatment. In his message released today, the Pope thanked the doctors and health workers at the hospital and well-wishers who sent in messages.
Three more suspects involved in aiding and abetting the murder of Gane Mulla Sanjeeva, who is a member of an organized criminal gang, have been apprehended by the Colombo Crime Division. They were produced before Colombo Magistrate Additional Magistrate Harshana Kakunawala this evening. The police informed the court that the suspects will be detained for further questioning. With these arrests, the number of suspects arrested for the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva has increased to 8.
Ganemulla Sanjeeva, also known as Sanjeeva Kumara Samararatna, was shot dead inside Magistrates Courthouse number 5 at the Hulsdorf Court Complex in Colombo on the 19th of February. The police arrested the main suspect within hours.
What is the latest update on the investigation into the murder?
The number of suspects arrested in connection to the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva has risen to 8. Including the 3 suspects produced in court today. 2 police officers are among those arrested.
Who are these suspects?
One of the 3 suspects arrested yesterday is a 22-year-old resident of Asgiriya Gampaha. According to police, investigations revealed that he was in possession of the firearm used to murder Ganemulla Sanjeeva and had made arrangements to deliver the weapon to the shooter on the day before the murder. The 2 other suspects arrested are brothers, aged 25 and 19. They are accused of transporting the shooter and a woman involved in the murder in a 3-wheeler after the incident. The suspects currently in custody are Samidu Dilshan Piyumanga Khandyarachi, who is the shooter. The man who drove the van the shooter was travelling in after the murder. The police constable who had a relationship with the woman accompanying the shooter. The driver of the car who transported the shooter from the guest house he was lodging at. Police constable Hasita Roshan, who kept the van used by the suspected shooter to assist in their escape. And the 3 suspects produced in court this morning.
Were any weapons or other illegal items discovered in the suspect's possession?
Police revealed that the chassis number, engine number and license plate of the van found in possession of the 37-year-old police constable attached to the Aturugiliya police station were all fake. Additionally, 12 live rounds of ammunition for a 12-bore firearm and a live ammunition used for an M16 rifle were seized from his residence in Pannipitiya. The suspect was remanded until the 7th of March after he was produced before the Colombo Magistrates Court. The shooter who killed Ganemulla Sanjeeva and the van driver who transported him were arrested by the Police Special Task Force in Pallaviya Puttalam on the same day. They were then handed over to the Colombo Crimes Division for further investigation. Following this, the Colombo Crimes Division obtained permission from the Ministry of Defence to detain and question the 2 suspects under a 90-day detention order under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Both suspects are currently being held at the Harbour Police Station.
What is the current status of the investigation regarding the triple homicide where 2 children were among the victims? Another suspect has been arrested in connection with the triple homicide in Middeniya. The arrest was made by officers of the Tangol Crime Division in Telambuyaya, Veerakatiya. The suspect is 29 years old. A total of 5 suspects have been arrested in connection with the triple homicide of Aruna Vidanagamage, alias Kajja, and his 2 children on the 18th of February. A police constable is also among the arrested suspects. 3 of the arrested suspects were produced before the Walasmulla Magistrates Court. The magistrate permitted the police to detain and question the suspects for 72 hours. Is there an invisible force behind the surge in organized criminal activity? Deputy Minister of Housing T.B. Sarath expressed these views.
Defeated politics is one of the reasons behind these organized crimes. The defeated politicians want to kill and destroy all evidence. That is very clearly seen. These defeated politicians are now working on erasing all evidence. The government has thoroughly discussed these matters. The murderous gangs of these defeated politicians will be nabbed with evidence, and the entire country will find out who were behind all these killings. A few days before the Middeniya murder, the victim appeared in a discussion with a famous journalist. These people are the ones who worked with their family. Killing these people who had worked for their family along with their children is an unfortunate situation. Information about that will come out in the future.
The police have seized 123 live ammunition from a bag in the trunk of a bus. The live ammunition was found stashed inside a metal box.
A bus travelling from Colombo to Badulla was stopped and checked at the Bandarawala town by officers attached to the Bandarawala police. The bus was searched based on information received by the police. 123 live rounds of ammunition were found inside the trunk of the bus. 113 pistol ammunitions, 9 T-56 bullets and LMG bullets were among the live ammunition discovered. More weapons and ammunition were found in Habaradu, Gaul. 2 revolvers, ammunition and 2 swords were found inside a house and a suspect was taken into custody. The suspect was arrested last night by the Habaradu Police Division in Vallegevatta. The arrested woman is a 26-year-old resident of Vallegevatta. It has been discovered that the arrested woman is the wife of a close ally of Harakkatha, who is a member of an organized criminal gang.
Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala said that no final decision has been made on providing security to opposition parliamentarians. He added that MPs requesting for security have been asked to submit a report detailing the threats to their safety.
Minister Ananda Vijaypala said that security will only be provided if necessary. Following an assessment, opposition MPs have recently accused the government of reducing their security. The chief organizer of the opposition has made a written request to the Speaker for adequate security for all opposition MPs. However, the minister clarified that government MPs will not receive such security.
Deputy Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Ruwan Senadat, says that local government bodies will be constituted by the 2nd of June. He also said that local government elections will take place after the Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
The government will definitely hold local government elections. Currently, the Election Commission is handling the necessary procedures, and we expect them to officially gazette the election dates and times in the coming days. A decision will be made soon. The Commission has already requested the Ministry to determine the date for appointing members after the elections. It has been decided that local government councils will be constituted on the 2nd of June. Accordingly, the Commission has requested a 1-month period following the elections for necessary preparations. Elections will be held after the Sinhala and Tamil New Year celebrations in April.
Public approval of the Sri Lankan government has surged to 62%, more than doubling since July 2024. This was according to a Verite research poll.
The government's approval rating rose sharply after the election, from 24% in July 2024 to 62% in February 2025, when the latest roundup of the Gallup-style Mood of the Nation poll was conducted by Verite Research. For the first time since the economic crisis, a majority of the population, about 55%, feels that the economic conditions in Sri Lanka are getting better. However, 47% still feel that the economy as a whole is in a poor condition. This is down from the 71% who thought that way in July 2024. Overall, from July 2024 to February 2025, the percentage of people who disapprove the government declined from 60% to 16%, and the percentage of people who think the economy is getting worse declined from 65% to 14%.
Today on our special segment, What Happened to the Village? We delve into a project worth 60 million rupees that has not been completed to date.
What happened to the village?
The Hambantota Divisional Secretariat was located in close proximity to the Hambantota Kataragama Road. After the tsunami, another building constructed to provide services to the disabled was also connected to this building. In 2013, the land on which the Divisional Secretariat was located was allocated for the construction of a hotel by the government in power at the time. The Hambantota Divisional Secretariat was then moved to Siribopura, Hambantota. 60 million rupees was allocated for the construction of the hotel. This is the state of the building today. No hotel was constructed. The money that was allocated for the construction has also disappeared. This building that provided services to thousands of people is now only used by a few.
හරි මේක විනාශ වෙලා වල් වැදිලා කුඩුකාරයක අර මිනිස්සුන්ගේ හොරුන්ගේ රජදහනක් වෙලා තියෙනවා මෙතන. එතන ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කාර්යාලය උපකාර්යාලයක් හෝ නැත්නම් සමාජයට වැදගත් වෙන කිසියම් හෝ ආයතනයක් මෙතන පටන් ගන්න.
මේ වෙනකොට අපේ පරිපාලන කටයුතු සඳහා අපි යන්න ඕන සිරිබෝපුර දැනට ස්ථාපිත වෙන පරිපාලන සංකීර්ණයට. ඒ අංගොඩ අපිට බස් දෙක තුනක යන්න වෙනවා. අපරාධ වටිනා කියන මේ ගොඩනැගිලි මේ විදිහට නාස්ති වෙලා යනවා.
Who misappropriated money in the guise of building a hotel? Will these matters not be looked into? Is it not prudent that these buildings be put to some use?
What happened to the village?
Newsfirst with the people.
A delegation led by Foreign Minister Vijay Herath has left for Geneva in Switzerland today. The delegation will attend the 58th session of the Human Rights Council.
The 58th session of the Human Rights Council will begin in Geneva, Switzerland tomorrow. The delegation led by Foreign Minister Vijay Herath includes top government officials and diplomats. The delegation will participate in the sessions of the Human Rights Council scheduled for the 28th of February.
Today is day 3 of Architect 2025 at the PMICH.
Architect 2025, a showcase of cutting-edge architectural designs and concepts, is being held at the BMICH in Colombo and will continue until tomorrow. This exhibition, organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, features innovative designs and visionary concepts. Sirasa TV, Sirasa FM and Newsfirst are the media partners for Architect 2025.
A felicitation ceremony honouring distinguished alumni of DSN Lanka College in the legal fraternity took place yesterday.
A felicitation ceremony titled Legal Luminaries, a tribute to legal excellence, to honour and pay tribute to distinguished alumni of DSN Lanka College in the legal fraternity took place yesterday.
Can we please give a big round of applause because His Lordship Justice Damit Kotawatta. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
The chief guest of the event was Justice of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, S. Thurai Raja.
The accomplishment reflects both their personal dedication and the solid foundation laid by this esteemed institution. Education, as we know, is the bedrock upon which lives are built. It shapes our character, sharpens our intellect, and instills the values that guide us through life. DSN Lanka College has consistently upheld these principles, nurturing generations of young minds who have gone on to excel in various fields. Today we celebrate 5 of its distinguished alumni who have reached the pinnacle of success in the legal profession.
The event was organized by the Lawyers Association of DSN Lanka College.
.3D printing makeathon for assistive technology organized by the University of Kelaniya kicked off yesterday.
University students across Sri Lanka will complete in a 3D printing makeathon for assistive technology at the University of Kelaniya from the 22nd of February to the 24th. The event is organized by the University of Kelaniya's Faculty of Computing and Technology. The makeathon emphasizes a user-centered design approach requiring teams to work closely with need knowers or individuals with disabilities to ensure the solutions are both meaningful and effective. ADB representative Yotaro Hayashi had this to say.
We have a bright minds in Sri Lanka who can come up with the solutions for those suffering from the disabilities, and we came up with an idea of organizing Sri Lanka Inter-University Makeathon for Assistive Health Technology in collaboration with the University of Kelaniya, which is one of the implementing agency of the ADB-supported Science and Technology Human Resource Development Project.
The competition culminates in a final presentation where the teams will showcase their prototypes to a panel of judges and prizes of up to 100,000 rupees could be won.
The nomination ceremony to officially begin the Manhunt International Finals in Sri Lanka took place in Colombo yesterday.
The nomination ceremony to officially begin the Manhunt International Finals in Sri Lanka took place in Colombo yesterday. Piumal Situm, the first runner-up of Sirasa Manhunt 2015, has been officially selected to represent Sri Lanka at Manhunt International 2025, which will be held in Thailand.
A crowning achievement indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and to think that his journey is only beginning. The ceiling is really high for this young man.
The ceremony was held with the participation of Minister of Foreign Affairs Vijitha Herath.
On to international news. Germans are going to the polls after an intensive election campaign dominated by their country's faltering economy and a succession of deadly attacks that have made migration and security a focal issue.
Friedrich Merz, the 69-year-old conservative leader, is in a pole position to become Germany's next chancellor in a vote closely watched in Europe and the US. He promises to fix most problems in 4 years, a tall order for Europe's biggest economy and a cracking infrastructure. If Merz's Christian Democrats or CDU win, he will need to forge an alliance with at least one other party, most likely Olaf Scholz's Social Democrats, whose government collapsed late last year. Some 59.2 million Germans are eligible to vote, and while millions already have by post, polls indicate as many as 20% were undecided ahead of election day. The polls close at 6 p.m. with a clear idea of a result likely to emerge during the evening. Voters are energized by this pivotal election and campaigning right throughout last evening. This is a watershed moment as Germany will have to make a big decision on the world stage as well as at home. Merz promises strong leadership in Europe, but Berlin is also under pressure to loosen the budget strings for its military. As Ukraine's second biggest provider of military aid, Germany's next government will face a US president who has condemned President Volodymyr Zelensky as a dictator and fractured the West's united front against Russia. German political leaders have also been shocked by US Vice President J.D. Vance, who has met with AfD's candidate for Chancellor Alice Weidel and called for an end to the long-standing taboo of talking to the far right. Merz was accused of breaking it last month when he used their support in parliament. There was protest against the far right in several German cities on Saturday.
Hamas released 6 Israeli hostages on Saturday, but Israel suspended the handover of more than 600 Palestinians it was due to free from its prisons in exchange, putting the 5-week-old ceasefire agreement once more in jeopardy.
Israel says it is indefinitely delaying the release of more than 600 Palestinian prisoners, in another potentially major setback in the ceasefire process. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the releases were now going to be delayed until the next handover of hostages by Hamas was guaranteed, and without what the Israeli Prime Minister called the degrading ceremonies Hamas has put on each week. His comment came after 6 Israeli hostages, including 4 kidnapped during the 7th of October 2023 deadly Hamas attack on Israel, were released on Saturday. Only one more handover of hostages is due in the first phase of the ceasefire, which will involve returning bodies of 4 who died in captivity. No arrangements of the release of other living hostages due to take place in phase 2 of the ceasefire have yet been made. Mediators will be working overtime to get the deal back on track and avert a possible collapse of the ceasefire. Netanyahu accused Hamas of repeated violations, including the cynical use of hostages for propaganda purpose. In response, a Hamas official strongly condemned the decision to postpone the release of the prisoners in a statement this morning. He said that Israel's claims that the handover ceremonies were humiliating was a quote-unquote false claim and a flimsy argument, aimed at evading its obligations under the ceasefire agreement. Netanyahu's statement came after 4 hostages taken captive on the 7th of October were released yesterday. The 2 other released hostages, Avera Mengitsu and Hisham al-Said, were held in Gaza for years. The 6 Israeli hostages are the final living hostages to be returned as part of the first phase of a ceasefire deal, which is set to end next Saturday.
Let's take a look at tonight's edition of Happy Headlines.
Happy Headlines. Last night, these little baby turtles were born at the Panadura beach. The turtle eggs were laid on this beach about 50 days ago, and about 383 baby turtles hatched and made their way to the sea. Thanks to the Panadura Turtle Conservation Project, the public had the opportunity to see how these little baby turtles are released into the sea. It was not just a chance to witness this moment, but also a great opportunity to learn things one may not know about turtles. Locals as well as tourists were there to witness these baby turtles as they make their way to the sea. This was a unique experience, especially for the little children as they watched the baby turtles hurry towards the water to begin their new lives.
Happy Headlines. And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Good night.